こんにちは、Taiki です。Today we're going to learn this phrase.
この帽子をお前に預ける。いつかきっと返しに来い。立派な海賊になってな。
この帽子をお前に預ける。Let's say it first line. この帽子をお前に預ける。お前に預ける。Okay, so この this 帽子 hat always a particle お前 you needs a particle 預ける is to leave something to someone. So in this case, this Shanks, the character, red hair character is leaving his hat to the protagonist, Luffy. Leave something to someone. Now about 預ける Azukiru can mean check luggage at the hotel. So when you want to check luggage at the hotel, you would say azukemasu. Azukiru. So or deposit money at the bank. So there are different usages of azukiru or azukemasu. So this one is a dictionary form. You're not using mass form. So dictionary form is a casual way. So Shanks is not talking to Luffy in a formal way because he's older. He is a greater pirate. You would only use dictionary form, which is a casual form, to your friends or to someone who's inferior to you. So maybe your subordinate, your family member, etc. Okay? Or so this, if you look at the whole sentence, you notice the pattern that I've been always talking about. So Japanese grammatical structure is always going to be S-O-V. And S can be excluded because we tend to exclude subjects. So in this case, I will leave this hat to you. That's what he's saying. But since in Japanese, we assume that you're talking about yourself as long as it's coming out of your mouth. So we assume that Shanks is referring to some I without even saying I. Does that make sense? So we don't have to say I because we assume that unless we specify he or she or somebody else, we assume that person. Unless if that person doesn't have a subject, pronoun, then they're talking about themselves. That's why we leave off subject. So in this case, S is excluded, so what's left? O. So O and V, right? And you can think of this as O in this big verb form. この帽子. Basically, there's big O and says leave something to someone. Is together, that's a verb form. That's a verb section. I hope that makes sense to you. O is a particle connecting object and verb. So since this is just the extra one to you, that is a extra thing that you would say. You're specifying you. Azukeru and boshi, they're connected by O. To whom? Omae ni. So this is just a description. You can have something before azukeru. Omae ni, think of it as to. So that's a particle. Leave something to somebody. Leave something to somebody. Okay? So let's pronounce this sentence again. この帽子をお前に預ける。この帽子をお前に預ける。Okay. So what did I mean by verb section? We're gonna create a sentence, example sentence, using に預ける. Okay? So, like I said, O, O, V. And this second O is a part of verb section. So, 荷物, right? 荷物を is a luggage. By the way, I'm creating a sentence using that. 帽子をお前に預ける. Because it might be confusing still. So, 荷物を. If you follow the rule of O connecting object, 預ける, verb, leave, right? Leave something to someone. It is clear, but you can add specific somebody in between. So that's what I mean. So you can just say leave luggage, right? Leave luggage, check luggage. But you can say fronto, which is like reception or like front at the hotel. So you can use furonto ni. Again, ni is to. So you're specifying leaving something, leaving my luggage, checking my luggage to what? To whom? To where? Oh, fronto ni. So description is in between this part. Okay? So let's do another example. Because I really want you to understand this, because it's a really useful phrase. Let's use return. Return a book. So let's say return a book to the library. 本を返す. Okay? So book, that's an object. O is a particle. 返す is to return. That's simple. But if you want to say to the library, you can add 図書館に that's to, and it's library. This is another O 返す return. Okay, so this part puts an extra information to the sentence. I forgot to mention, but this to whom, to where part return to the library, right? So to whom, this part can be at the beginning also. You can either put it at the beginning or in between を返す. Same goes for the last example. 荷物をフロントに預ける check my luggage to the front. You can say フロントに荷物を預ける it's fine. And how Shanks say that この帽子をお前に預ける right. So you can say お前に you この帽子を預ける is also fine. You see, this is a small O. That was supposed to be on the before here, right? So it can go here. So again, O and V. This is also fine. Second part of the One Piece video. いつかきっと返しに来い。立派な海賊になってな。いつか。So let's look at いつかきっと返しに来い。Okay, so いつか just means someday. きっと it is very hard to translate きっと this here because きっと usually means I am assuming, like I assume. So the example would be きっと来る。きっと来ます。Right, so I'm just gonna write down example here. How about here? きっと来ます。Okay, so 来ます is come, is to come. So きっと is I'm sure. So there's a subject missing. What does that mean? Well, in Japanese language, you have to read the context. So if this sentence is used in a conversation, so there are two people, A and B. So A is saying, I hope he comes. And B says, I'm sure he does. So in that sentence is, I'm sure he comes. I'm sure he will come. If you want to be specific, you would add, 彼は he. I hope it's simple enough for you. You can just use きっとね to say, I'm sure it's the case. きっとね. This きっと is not, I'm sure. This is like I hope. In this specific sentence, いつかきっと someday I hope. So いつかきっと良くなる example. I'm saying example. Someday I hope it's going to be good. 良くなるいつかきっと良くなる You don't use that. You don't use in daily life. いつかきっと unless you want to sound very dramatic or poetic. 返しに来い Alright. So this I want you to pay attention. This is the main theme for today's sentence, today's lesson. This is a different conjugation of 返しに来ます meaning come to return. Okay? So I hope you understand this part. So to explain this in depth, I'm just gonna erase this one. In Japanese, if you want to say go to or come to or return to do something, you first want to use 返します so you first want to have the mass form. This is return, by the way. Okay? And you want to make it to a verb stem. So what's a verb stem? Simply, you would just remove must from the mass form. This part is removed. So this verb stem is very useful for conjugating many sentences and saying a lot of phrases. So I want you to remember this. 返します、返し. For other examples, it would be 食べます is to eat. So if it goes to verb stem, what would it be? 食べ. Yeah. Okay? Without must. That's it. Now, this verb stem is needed to use come, go, to, or return to. So, 返しに来ます come, 返し the one, the verb stem that I just did に行きます、来ます、帰ります means go to return. So this go is physically go, physically moving go to a place. So why? For the purpose of returning something. That is go to return, right? So 来ます is come. So this is also movement, physical movement. And 帰ります is to return, go home is also a physical movement. So you have a specific physical movement. It can be either go, come, or return here. Movement, this one, okay? For the purpose of what? 返します But since you can't use mass form, you would use verb stem, which is mass substituted. And you use ni always. Ni. Okay. So this is what's going on. This is go to return, but he's saying come to return. Now I hope you understand how to use verb stem, ni, movement. Think of this movement as go, come, and return only for now. And what's koi? Koi is what's called imperative form. What does imperative mean? Imperative is a command, using a command. So, kimasu. Let me read this here. Kimasu is just the basic form, mass form of come, right? To make a command, instead of saying come as like a verb, you want to command someone, you want to force someone to do, you would say koi, koi. So example is like come. Like when you're in a fight, in a movie, you would say come, koi, koi, right? Or koi, koi, koi. You know, you want to make an order, becomes koi. Okay, I know it's a little tricky because this is unfortunately, very unluckily, this is an irregular form. Okay, so you usually, to make an imperative or command form, you have, right, mass form, and you want to know how to change that to dictionary form, which is iku in go case. And you would change this, so this is ku, right? Ku, change that to e, so the vowel changes to e. Ike is to go, imperative. U becomes E, but this is fortunately or unfortunately, kuru, kimasu, kuru, so kimasu form, mass form, kuru dictionary form, and koi. You don't use kure, no. What I mean by that is kimasu is mass form, and what did I say? You would change that to dictionary form, right? So it is already like a regular one compared to others. Because iku, ikimasu, iku, you just change to ikimasu is ki, ki changes to ku, and remove mas. That's how you usually create dictionary form. But since come is a irregular one, you would just use, you just have to remember it. It becomes koi, imperative. So he's saying come and return. I hope someday you return. What? Well, from the previous sentence, you see, I will leave this hat to you. So he's talking about the hat that he's giving to Luffy. I hope it makes sense. Now the last part is 立派な海賊になってな。立派な海賊になってな。Okay, so 立派な, great, brilliant. That's just an adjective. Kaizoku is pirate. Ni, if you remember the last lesson, I hope you realize something. This is nanimasu is to become. But using te form, which is te form, which I will describe in future lesson. But for now, nanimasu becomes natte. And te form is very useful. In this case, the te form used as after. Okay, so after becoming. And na is like okay, got it. So if you're familiar with Japanese language, na is like ne in a masculine way of saying ne. Natte ne, natte na. So it's like, okay, got it? So he's saying, after becoming pirate, after becoming a brilliant, great pirate, okay? That is so in this te form, so te form can be used as te form, so after an action. Let's stick to that for now. If you're curious about te form, leave a comment below. I will talk about it in depth. Maybe I should do that in the next lesson. So, example of this kind of natte or te form, I'll give you one. You would use te form to describe a sequence. Okay? So, banana o tabete, comma. If it's more natural if you use comma. Kohi o nomimashita. Okay? So, te form here. You're describing sequence. So, if I translate this sentence, I would use I ate banana and drank coffee. Like I said, that's a sequence. And presumably you would think you ate banana first and drank coffee. This is a sequence. Simple, right? So, o, like I said, eat banana and drink coffee. All there. Because o, connect object and verb. And I want you to pay attention here. Eat. Shouldn't it be ate? Well, te form cannot be past tense or present tense. This is only te form. There is no time tense. There is no time tense. So what you do, you would find this te form as it is. Te form itself doesn't change at all. That's the point. How do you know if it's a past tense? You look at the very end. Nomimashita is clearly a past tense of nomimasu, drink. So in Japanese language, you don't have to worry about te form, but we don't know if it's going to be past or future or present moment until we look at the very end. Okay? So how did you like the lesson? I know I'm just starting out doing this whiteboard thing. I've always taught people Japanese online. If you're interested in learning with me Japanese, I will have a link in the description below. You can check it out. You can have a private lesson with me with a very cheap price. So if you don't think you can afford to go to a language school, offline language school, the website that I have linked in the description below is going to save you a lot of money. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.